Folks, our next award is the Spirit of Tewaaraton Award. And for this honor, we look for someone in the lacrosse community who embodies the timeless values of courage and teamwork, someone who has made a significant contribution to society.
As you can see on the screen, we have 12 past honorees, including our dear friends, Richie Moran and Tina Sloan Green, who are with us here tonight. Please give them a big round of applause. Tonight, our Spirit of Tewaaraton honoree is a true ambassador of the sport of lacrosse.
As a player, coach, and advocate, Feffie Barnhill has championed women's lacrosse and helped put the sport in the global spotlight. Studying to be a teacher at Ursinus College, Feffie earned 15 letters while playing 5 sports, but earned her master's in lacrosse, helping the Bears achieve a 42-2-1 record. After graduating, Feffie started her teaching and coaching careers at St. Catherine's in Richmond, Virginia. But after 6 successful years, Feffie realized she wanted to take her coaching to a higher level. At just 28 years old, she became head coach at William & Mary. Her coaching philosophy focused on helping players develop both as athletes and as people. Over 20 seasons, Barnhill led the tribe to a 157-87-1 record, 6 NCAA tournament appearances, and 7 conference titles. She developed 26 All-Americans, and 9 players went on to the U.S. national team. Feffie began to realize her vision for lacrosse as a community and created the William & Mary Lacrosse Invitational, bringing top college and international teams together for an annual tournament, which became known as Feffie's Follies. Her reach and influence continued to grow. Feffie helped the U.S. national team bring home gold as an assistant coach at the 1989 World Cup. She became the first female chair of U.S. lacrosse and IFWLA's vice chair of competition. After leaving William & Mary in 1999, Feffie moved home to Delaware, won 5 state championships at Tower Hill High School, built a top program at Ursuline Academy, all while running camps and clinics to develop young athletes. During this time, Feffie also took to the world stage. She coached the Scottish women's national team, chaired the Men's and Women's International Merger Committee, and became the first president and a founding member of the Federation of International Lacrosse. With a tireless work ethic, Feffie has given herself to the game of lacrosse on all levels. Today, she serves as director of the Green Turtle Lacrosse Club and director of the South African Lacrosse Project. She works to ensure women players have the same resources and opportunities as men, and is an advocate for women's lacrosse as an Olympic sport. Feffie Barnhill truly embodies the spirit of Tewaaraton.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Karen Brower-Corbett, one of Feffie's former players and the current head women's lacrosse coach at the University of Pennsylvania.
I was both honored and humbled that Feffie asked me to present the Spirit Award to her when she has so many past players who look up to her with admiration and gratitude for all that she taught us. It is truly exceptional, everything she has done for women's lacrosse, but I wanted to give a picture of who Feffie was to us, her players. The Spirit Award is such a fantastic name because Feffie embodies spirit. She is her own free spirit, and the stories of her as our coach will always be remembered. Although we all have our own stories, I wanted to share a few of mine. I remember my freshman year driving in vans, yes, vans, to Florida, and Feffie was driving one of them, and we actually wanted to be with her in her van because we knew that she would make it memorable. We were all so tired as we left very early, but Feffie was not going to allow us to sleep as she wanted us to be her co-pilots. Anytime she passed a Volkswagen Bug, she wanted to see who was the first that would shout it out, and then you had to punch the person next to them. Anytime we passed a Waffle House, she would shout out, "Waffle, waffle, waffle!" So clearly we couldn't sleep because there are so many on your way to Florida. A trip that took 12 hours to get there took 4 hours to come home because Feffie wanted to make sure we stopped at every fireworks outlet south of the border because you weren't allowed to buy fireworks in Virginia. I think she actually was the only one who purchased anything. On the field, she commanded respect when she explained a drill. You needed to be paying attention. She would explain something only twice, as she believed we were capable of listening and paying attention, learning from one another and being inspired by our teammates and wanting to emulate the best. I never wanted to miss a nugget of information she would give us on the field because I knew how it would improve me as a player. She wanted us to reach our potential, and she believed that we would invest in our own fitness and game to be the best players we could be. She didn't have to push us to do these things. We wanted to do them because we respected her so much and wanted to be the best not only for ourselves, but for her. The statement in the video that said she wanted to develop lacrosse players and people is so true. I can speak for my teammates at William & Mary and those she coached before and after me that she made a huge impact on us as people. She taught us so much about the game of lacrosse, but more importantly, she guided us on our growth from girls into women into leaders. This experience that Feffie created for me as a player is what I have tried to emulate as a coach, following in her footsteps with my own team. If I can impact young women who come into my program like Feffie did for me and countless others, we will help to build lifelong champions of lacrosse and women leaders of the future. Feffie, thanks for being a coach who inspired us every day to be our best and to impact others with our passion. I can't think of anyone more deserving of the Spirit Award than my dear friend and mentor, Feffie Barnhill.
Hey, Karen, that was awesome. Thank you for your very kind words, and I'm so proud of you and your accomplishments, and she was one of my favorites in all those years back at William & Mary. And to the foundation and Jeff Harvey, I'm very humbled to accept this award. Certainly had no concept that the call would come in January with that information. Over the past 18 years, I've been delighted to be part of this foundation. As Richie Moran reminded me, we were sitting around 2001 creating this idea of an award. And it's great to see how the foundation has matured in the meantime. So now when an announcer states in a game, a Tewaaraton nominee, the lacrosse world knows that that's one of the best players. That's a name recognition that is very proud. We're very proud of as a Tewaaraton Foundation. Not a small coincidence that I had the pleasure of coaching Karen Emis Borby, who's going to be a legend announced shortly. She was in the 1989 World Cup team that I coached, along with Sue Stahl, and was a scoring machine. She was a great teammate, and I'm so glad that she and Tom Sears are going to be honored for their previous playing experiences coming up. My life can be summed up in 2 words: teacher and mentor. My mother was a teacher, and she mentored so many other young teachers. But I've always been more passionate for the women's sports. And as a player, a coach, a spectator, I've always advocated for the advancement of athletes in athletic endowment. I had the opportunity to be mentored by so many outstanding women throughout my playing career, but they all taught me one thing: the principles of creative fair play. And I guide myself to those today. I was very fortunate to gain college experience at the College of William & Mary, a fabulous place to live and teach. Here I had the chance to teach and mentor so many outstanding women like Karen. And they've all gone on in this world to be creative in their own ways. Somewhere later during that time, I learned to read and write bylaws and constitutions. It was probably the mistake of my life, but in the long run, it turned out because I was allowed and had the knowledge and was asked to help merge the men's and women's groups into U.S. Lacrosse. I was the one representing the Women's Association who had a lot of faith in me because they thought I could write and read bylaws and constitutions. And then I went on and was asked to serve on the merger committee for the 2 different international organizations for the men and women, merged into the Federation of International Lacrosse. So after 4 and 6 years of that kind of work, they each asked me to be president. And that's one of my biggest honors that I've had, is leading both of those organizations. But this award is about contributing to the lives of others. The most rewarding experience I can think of is my work with the Haudenosaunee women and trying to get they and their nation to be part of the international play and allowing them to come to tournaments and represent their people. I learned about the Creator's game through them and also the lives of the Iroquois women. I'm still very good friends with their leadership, Denise Waterman, Tia Schindler, and Kathy Smith. They are still leading that group today. So I'd like to share with you a part of a poem that I found. It has an anonymous author, but I have been giving it to all my seniors as they graduate, from when I first started teaching till 2 days ago when my seniors last left me from their team. It goes this way. A team can lose. Any team can lose. But in a sense, in a very real sense, a coach never loses. For the job of a coach is over and finished once the starting whistle blows. She knows she's won or lost before the play starts. For a coach has 2 tasks. The minor one is to teach skills, to teach a girl how to run faster, how to defend better, how to shoot harder, how to throw farther, how to jump higher. But the second task, the major task, is to make a woman out of girls. And it's to teach them an attitude of mind. It's to implant character and not simply impart skills. For a coach, the final score doesn't read so many points for my team and so many points for their team. Instead, it reads so many women out of so many girls. And this is the score that is never published. And this is the score that she reads to herself and in which she finds her real joy when the last game is over. Thank you, Tewaaraton Foundation, and congratulations to the nominees.